G'day team, it's Chris speaking. Welcome back. Today we are doing the last episode of Building Your Support Network, and we're going to be talking about the online trans community. Hi. So, I'm part of the online trans community. I'm a very small part of the online trans community, but I am there. If you need to talk to someone, my Instagram DMs are always open and the link is down below. If you have questions about me or about your own transition, by all means, hit me up. I'm there. So, the reason I want to talk about building a support network with the online trans community or the online LGBTQI+ community, depending on what you're coming out as or what you identify as, is because not every town that you're in is going to have another person that you can reach out to and talk to. For a lot of trans people in particular, they go online to seek people who are like them in some way, shape or form. I know for me, I certainly consumed a lot of YouTube content trying to find someone that was like me, who was a little bit older, who understood what I was going through and why I was so scared of transitioning back in the day, between 26 and 27. I started hormones right before my 28th birthday, and it was a scary time. I had lived all of my life, and that is not to say that everyone doesn't live all their life before they transition, but some people know a lot younger, some people know a lot older, and for those people who are doing it older, it's scary because you've just left 30 years behind, 40 years, 50 years, whatever, to start your new life as your authentic self, and that's terrifying. If you come from a small town, you don't necessarily have somebody else, another trans person to talk to or to go to a support group. You may not even know that they exist if they do. So my advice is to try and instigate your way into the online trans or LGBTQI+ community in whatever way, shape or form you can. A great way of doing that is through YouTube, it's through Instagram, it's through Facebook, a lot of Facebook groups. So if you search for a trans group, it's in English. If you search for trans groups in your area, more than likely some sort of support group will come up. If you're going to a gender clinic, ask them, do you know of any transgender support groups or online services that I could use to help in my transition? Because I have questions that I can't necessarily ask here, because sometimes your doctors are cis allies, and that's awesome. We need cis allies, but sometimes you just need to speak to another trans person. Sometimes you need to speak to another gay person because you don't really understand what's going on in your mind and in your body, and that's okay. So reach out to somebody online. How I did it, like I said, I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I then started following trans people on Instagram. I even sent a message to a couple, and most of them were nice enough to message me back. I was lucky enough to have people in my own life who had transitioned both male to female and female to male that I could talk to about my own questionings and sort of come to terms with my trans identity through talking it out. It's really, really important that you talk and you don't sit on it, because that's when depression can happen. That's when anxiety can happen. That's when you bottle it all up and you burst in a fit of rage. There are things that I did at the start of my transition which I'm not proud of, including drinking, and that's another video for another time. Hopefully this one's a little bit lighter. But there are things that you can do. Like I said, my Instagram is always open. If you're questioning or you just need someone to rant to about trans stuff, go for it. I'm happy to listen. Reach out to the online community. If you are consuming YouTube content, follow these people on Instagram. Message them if you can work up, the guts to. Sometimes that can be pretty nerve-wracking in itself. But you can build your support network online. If you're not comfortable with reaching out and talking to someone online, at least you know there are other people going through the same things that you are, and that's an important thing in itself. For me, it certainly was. I found one or two people who were no longer on YouTube but made videos, and their stories were similar to mine, and I watched those videos over and over and over again, and I cried, I broke down, I finally felt like someone understood my story. And the thing is that not every trans story is going to be the same, and that's okay. You're probably going to find elements of your story within other people, like what you're expecting on testosterone, for example, or what you're expecting from top surgery. Those are sort of the two main ones, or bottom surgery if that's where you're going. But you will find elements and bits and pieces. Sorry, there's a siren going off. if you're not comfortable talking to your family yet, even though I talked to my family first, I didn't talk to my family first, that's a lie. The online trans community, or the online LGBTQI plus community, is a great place to start. If you're questioning, you're likely looking up stuff on the internet, even if you don't realize yet. Even if you're just questioning your gender identity and not necessarily your gender identity itself. But the online space is going to be the safest place for you to start looking for information. I know I did. I did a lot. I did a lot of online looking before I even went to my parents. I watched hours and hours and hours of YouTube. I looked at so many Instagram feeds, particularly for, actors that came out. Elliot Fletcher was a big one for me because I kept seeing him everywhere. I was like, this guy is amazing and he's trans, and his story didn't fit mine because he was young when he came out, really young, and then started, pushing trans issues to the forefront of the media, which had been done before, of course it had, but this was just when I was sort of starting to understand my own gender identity. He was there, and that then got me to look for other people. The online trans or LGBTQI plus community is a great avenue. It is safe for you to look at if you are not in a safe space to come out. There are people who are willing to answer your questions, and yeah, I really can't see any reason why not looking online, or what harm it is reaching out, except for anxiety. I understand that, particularly when I say reach out to people. That might be okay for me, but it's not okay for others. So the online space is safe for you just to look as well. I lurked in a couple of Facebook groups and just watched as questions that I had got answered by other people. That's okay too, but they're out there, and if you know they're out there, then at least you can have access to them. Was that English? Was that good English? I'm not sure. I'm going to put a couple of links to groups that I follow down below, and you can check them out too. These are for people in Australia. These are for people in Brisbane. There's a couple of trans groups on Facebook. You do need to be approved to get into them, but anything you post in there doesn't go onto your normal Facebook page if it's not safe for you to do so. Anyway, that was a rant. I'm sorry. That's it from me. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of it, then click on my face, which will be down here, and I'll catch you next time. Okay, bye.